everyone. My name is Aishwarya Gupta. I am a PGT chemistry teacher in Lucknow Public School. Today I am going to explain the topic molecular orbital theory of homonuclear diatomic molecule. So before studying about this theory, first we need to know what was the reason behind the introduction of this theory. So this theory explains the paramagnetic behavior of O2, while according to valence bond theory the O2 molecule is assumed to be diamagnetic, but from experiment it has been observed that the O2 molecule is paramagnetic in nature. So let's talk about the postulates of molecular orbital theory. So the first postulate is atomic orbitals combines to form molecular orbital. Like atoms combines in order to form a molecule, so similarly atomic orbitals combines with each other in order to form a molecular orbital. The second point is like electrons in the molecule are present in the molecular orbital as it was present in the atomic orbital in case of atoms. And the third point is atomic orbitals of comparable energy and proper symmetry. The orbital should be of comparable energy and proper symmetry are combined to form molecular orbital. Like the one, if the atomic orbital is 1s, then it will get combined with the another 1s orbital. 1s will not combine with the 2s because there is difference in energy. And also the px orbital will get combined with the px orbital. It will not get combined with the py or pz orbital. So for the combination, the energy of the orbital should be comparable and their symmetry should also be proper. Now next one, the atomic orbitals are monocentric in nature, whereas molecular orbitals are polycentric in nature. And number of molecular orbitals formed will always be equal to the number of atomic orbital. Like if we are combining two of the atomic orbital, then the resulting molecular orbital will also be 2. Their number will always be equal. And the molecular orbital forms are of two kinds, that is bonding molecular orbital as well as anti-bonding molecular orbital. And the energy of bonding molecular orbital is always less than the anti-bonding molecular orbital. And also bonding molecular orbital provides the stability to the bond. Total 10 molecular orbitals are known. Out of these 10 molecular orbitals, 5 are bonding molecular orbital and 5 are anti-bonding molecular orbital. Since all of these molecular orbitals are of different energy, so there is some energy order. Whenever the total electrons in a molecule are less than 14, whenever the total electrons in a molecule are less than 14, then we follow the order sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, sigma pi 2px is equals to pi 2py, then sigma 2pz, then pi star 2py is equals to pi star 2px, and at last sigma star 2pz. These normal sigma bond, these are representing the bonding molecular orbital, and the orbital with the star mark, these are representing the anti-bonding molecular orbital. So this order of energy is used to write the molecular orbital configuration of a molecule which is having total number of electron less than 40. Let's say we have to write the molecular orbital configuration of N2 molecule. So we will count the total electron in N2. So since 1 nitrogen there are 7 electron, and in 2 nitrogen there will be 7 into 2, that is 14 electrons will be there. And if we want to write their molecular orbital configuration, so it will be sigma 1s 2 sigma star 1s2, after that sigma 2s2, then sigma star 2s2, after that pi 2px is equals to pi 2py. Since these orbitals are having same energy level, so we will apply Hund's rule in order to fill the electron into it, which means we will fill first one electron in each of the orbital, then the pairing of the orbital will be done. So if we count up to this point, how many electrons have been filled? So there are total 12 electrons have been filled out of 14. So we have to take another orbital, that is sigma 2pz, and we have to fill the electrons into this orbital, that is sigma 2p2z. So this will be the molecular orbital configuration of N2 molecule. Let's take one more example. Let's say we have to write the electronic configuration of a carbon molecule, that is C2. So the total number of electron in case of carbon, there will be 6 into 2, that is total 12 electron. Now if we want to write the electronic configuration, it will be sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2 and sigma star 2s2, and at the end there will be orbital, that is pi 2px is equals to pi 2py. So we will fill electron one by one, and now in this way we can fill the electrons into the molecular orbital when the total electrons are less than 14. Now the energy order when the total electrons in a molecules are greater than 14. So what will be the energy order? The energy order will be sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. After that it will be sigma 2px, and after this there will be pi 2py is equals to pi 2pz. And after that, since we have written the bonding molecular orbital of 2p subshell, now we will be writing the anti-bonding molecular orbital of a 2p subshell. So it will be pi star 2py is equals to pi star 2pz and sigma star 2pz. Now again we will be observing some of the examples in this case. So let's take an example of O2 molecule, and we will be writing the molecular orbital configuration of O2 molecule. In O2 molecule, if we count the total number of electron, then there will be total 16 electron in this case. So we can write the molecular orbital configuration like this: sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, after that sigma 2s and sigma star 2s, then sigma 2px2 and pi 2py is equals to pi 2pz. Again these orbitals are of same energy, so we will fill one electron in each of the orbitals, then pairing will be done. So one electron in the 2py and one electron in the 2pz orbital, then we will be filling one electron again and one electron, that is the pairing will be done when each and every orbital gets one electron. Then after that there will be orbital pi star 2py is equals to pi star 2pz. So again now let's count the total number of electron that we have filled till now. So we have filled till now total 10 plus 4, that is 14 electron we have filled out of 16. Now since again these orbitals are of same energy level, so what will we do? Simply we will fill one electron in each of the orbital, and now 16 electron have been filled. This was all about the molecular orbital configuration. Let's come to the application of molecular orbital theory. So the first application of molecular orbital theory is in calculation of in calculation of bond order. This theory is used to calculate the bond order, and bond order has a formula, that is NB minus NA upon 2, where NB represents number of bonding electron and Na represents number of anti-bonding electron. Let's say you have to calculate the bond order of oxygen molecule, that is O2 molecule. So let's count the total number of bonding electron. So there will be 2 bonding electron, 2 plus 2, that is 4, and 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 4, that is there will be total 10 bonding electron. Value of Nb will be 10. And then let's count the number of anti-bonding electron. They will be 2 plus 2, that is 4, and 4 plus 2, these are also anti-bonding, so 4 plus 2, that is total 6 anti-bonding electron. So the bond order of the O2 molecule will comes out to be 4 by 2, that is 2, which means both the oxygen molecule will be bonded through double bond. And the second application of molecular orbital theory is in determining the stability of molecule. Okay, we can also determine the stability of a molecule by determining the bond order as well. Like when bond order is 0, which means the species will not exist. If any of the element is having bond order 0, which means it will not be existing. And also whenever bond order is in fraction, it means species will exist but will be unstable. Species will exist but it will be unstable. And also whenever the bond order is integer, bond order is an integer or it is having a whole number, so in this condition species will exist as well as it will be stable. We can also take examples of these kind of species, like the Be2 molecule. Be2 molecule is having a 0 bond order, which means this Be2 molecule will not be existing. And the species which is having the bond order is in fraction, we can also take example like O2 minus. And if we want to take example of bond order is an integer, so we can take example of O2, N2. There are also various examples available. And the third application of molecular orbital theory is in determining the magnetic behavior. Like if any of the species contains unpaired electron, it will be paramagnetic in nature. Example, O2 molecule, again let's take. This O2 molecule is having 16 electron. If we write the molecular orbital configuration of O2 molecule, it is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, after that sigma 2px, and pi 2py is equals to pi 2pz orbitals. Since these orbitals are of same energy, so first we will fill one by one, then the pairing will be done. And the next orbital will be pi star 2py is equals to pi star 2pz. So again we will be filling one electron in each of the orbital. Since these two pi star anti-bonding molecular orbitals are having unpaired electron, so the O2 molecule will be paramagnetic in nature. O2 molecule will be paramagnetic in nature if any of the species contains paired electron, which means it will be diamagnetic in nature. Okay, so let's take example of N2 molecule. It is having 14 electron. So we will be writing the electronic configuration, that is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, after that sigma star 2s2. Then we will be filling the pi orbital, that is pi 2px is equals to pi 2py, and after that we will be filling sigma 2px orbital, sigma 2pz orbital, and there will be 2 electrons into this. So here we can see that all the orbitals are having 2 electrons, that is they are paired, which means the species will be diamagnetic in nature. So students, that's all about molecular orbital theory. Thank you everyone.